Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also now posted the pictures of the meeting, the quick conversation that the three leaders had just before the SCO meet started. Prime Minister Modi has posted on social media platform X saying that interactions in Tianjin continue, exchanging perspectives with President Putin and President Xi during the SCO summit. This is what Narendra Modi has posted on social media platform. In fact, he has also posted pictures of him meeting President Putin. They also hugged each other. There was also this handshake between the two leaders, and Prime Minister Modi has written that it's always a delight to meet President Putin. Now, remember, this post comes just right before the big bilateral that is all set to take place in just a while from now. But ahead of that and ahead of the SCO meet, there were these powerful visuals coming from Tianjin of the three leaders, Russia, India, China, the three leaders of these countries meeting each other, laughing with each other. Prime Minister Modi has posted that interactions in Tianjin continue, exchanging perspectives with President Putin and President Xi during the SCO summit. In fact, he has also posted pictures with President Putin, saying that it's always a delight to meet President Putin. And in the visuals, Prime Minister Modi is hugging President Putin, and in fact, there's also this handshake between the two leaders. Gaurav continues to stay with us. Gaurav, Prime Minister Modi himself posting about the visuals. We have been talking since morning, the powerful visuals of the three leaders exchanging views, exchanging perspectives, having a laugh together. Prime Minister Modi says that it's always a delight to meet President Putin and also Xi Jinping.
It indeed is three very powerful leaders and a picture that will make the West very uncomfortable when these pictures, and in this interconnected world, these pictures will be viral already. And within minutes from now, you'll start getting reactions from almost across the world. There'll be commentators who will be very upset in the West. You've already heard leaders like Peter Navarro, the US advisor on trade, Donald Trump's advisor and one of his key men. He's already accusing India, as are several Americans, of India, hugging military. They may want to use terminology as military leaders or dictators or words to that effect. But the fact remains, West is uncomfortable. But do keep in mind, West has done exactly the same thing when it suited them. CIA has supported every dictator almost across the world. Presidents of the United States, from Zia-ul Haq to Pervez Musharraf, they've dealt with dictators. In Pakistan, felt more comfortable with dictators. Very recently, even Donald Trump was wining and dining General Asim Munir at the White House for a cryptocurrency and minerals deal and oil deal, either in Baluchistan or in the Arabian Sea off the coast of Pakistan. So, it's a bit rich for the Americans to try and talk down, but so far, their narrative would prevail. Right now, they're very unnerved because their narrative is being countered, and countered very effectively across the world. If 25 years America was investing in the Indo-Pacific or a relationship with India for a free and open Indo-Pacific, and suddenly Donald Trump does a U-turn on this, what does this indicate? Now, those are issues that are suddenly being raised, and those are issues that are being raised by the Democrats in the United States of America. They are being raised by other democracies across Europe that are questioning Donald Trump. Does he have a major role to play in pushing India closer to Russia and to China? Well, Russia, traditionally, India has been very, very close to Russia. So no two ways about it. Russia has been a close strategic partner. But with China, well, there has been a kind of a rejig of relationship post BRICS in Kazan 2024. But that Kazan spirit predates all these tariffs and talk of sanctions and 25% additional tariffs that have been put in place. But then there is a rejig because India's main interest is to ensure that in the lives of Indian people, prices in India are kept down and Indian interests are best protected. And that will not be better protected if there are 25% additional tariffs on India, or if India were not to buy cheap discounted oil from Russia, but were to buy Oil prices, incidentally, we're buying it at under $60 a barrel. The discounted rate is even lower. When the war started, do remember, global oil prices had shot up to $200 a barrel, and then those prices would have gone through the roof for the world and for India had India not bought that discounted oil, Anjali, from Russia.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Some more pictures are emerging from before the SCO meeting, and in these pictures, we'll show these pictures shortly, but in these pictures, Shehbaz Sharif can be seen looking on as Prime Minister Modi has this quick chat with Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin. There's Shehbaz Sharif also present. He's being sidelined. He is looking on as these three powerful leaders talk to each other, share, laugh. And Gaurav, you know, China has been considered close to Pakistan. But today what we saw is that Shehbaz Sharif just shaking hands and then moving on. And then comes Prime Minister Modi, who shakes hand with Xi Jinping and also has this quick conversation, and not just Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping, but they were also accompanied by Russian President Vladimir Putin. So are the dynamics changing?
Do not have the audio just as yet, but Prime Minister Narendra Modi is speaking right now at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, giving India's stance. You look at those pictures in the media center. We are yet to get an audio link of this conversation. We shall get it shortly, but the Prime Minister, you hear him speak. In just a moment, we will also have the audio link. And this is extremely significant right now. Why is this significant? Because what is it that India carries to this table? The message for the global south, the message for the developing world, that is Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaking. With him is the additional secretary for Asia just behind him. And of course, Mr. Hiren Joshi, the Prime Minister's media advisor, just behind the Prime Minister in this meeting. You have the National Security Advisor also there. So if you look at the stage right behind me, I mean, just look at that stage. You have the members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the heads of state in the inner circle. In the outer circle, you have those who've been invited for this summit, and you have 10 international organizations that are represented here, including the United Nations. So the effort of President Xi Jinping in Tianjin is to show how powerful Shanghai Cooperation Organization is as an important grouping. It's a grouping that represents not just the most populous countries in the world, India and China, most powerful countries, superpowers like Russia, but this is a very powerful Eurasian bloc that's represented on stage, and the Prime Minister is currently speaking at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. The audio link, of course, we shall have shortly, but I think you, Anjali, as soon as China releases these images, you shall have that audio and video in the studio, Anjali.
Right, Gaurav. So Prime Minister Modi is addressing the plenary session of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Currently, he is addressing the SCO leaders. We'll shortly get you the audio of the address as well. But Gaurav, as we were discussing about the powerful visuals of the three leaders, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with Xi Jinping, there's also now visuals emerging of Shehbaz Sharif staring on the leaders as these three leaders converse with each other. And as it is a known fact that China has been close to Pakistan, but now looking at the visuals that came today, can we say that the dynamics are now changing?
Well, China continues to use Pakistan to destabilize India. You know, every country wants to ensure that the other country does not rise and does not rise rapidly. To stall India's rise, you know, China talks of a multipolar world, but it does not talk of a multipolar Asia. And to stall India's rise, it uses Pakistan to stem India's rise, whether it's through terrorism, radical Islamist terrorism, or bleed India through more ways than one, to have the army deployed, all along the line of control. When Pakistan failed to do so, China then did something at the LAC again, but that's also bleeding China. And perhaps after 5 years of Galwan deployment, China has realized that militarily as India grows stronger, economically as India grows stronger, Pakistan cannot stall India's rise anymore. And Operation Sindoor was one big message when India slammed Pakistan. 11 air bases, 6 radar stations, 9 terror camps, all the HQ-16 and HQ-9 systems, the PL-15s, the JHC-10s, the JF-17s of the Chinese Air Force, all of them put together, including intelligence support, aviation support, all sorts of support that came. India still emerged on top. So India is rising. Now the effort is to engage when possible, contain when possible. That's the kind of twin-pronged offensive that China seems to be adopting. So they will not stop support to Pakistan. They want to use the Belt and Road Initiative, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, to have access to the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean region, because the Malacca Straits is a choke point for China, a choke point that India dominates, and China realizes that, and that is why it's not only making various bases, that string of pearls all around India, but also increasing its inroads in Africa and West Asia. So all along, China is trying to counterbalance, India's strength in the Indian Ocean region, and that is why it will not stop its support for Pakistan for access to the Gwadar port and the Belt and Road Initiative China-Pakistan Economic Corridor.
Right, Gaurav, talking about the India-China ties, how did China view the bilateral between Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping that was held yesterday?
So Chinese media and analysts have been all praised for Prime Minister Narendra Modi standing up to American bullying. They've praised India for the economy rising, and they've been talking about how India and China, if they were to operate together, if they were to work together, if they were able to sink their differences, it will benefit the 2.8 billion people of the region, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi also put it. However, they too would want India to they would want China to be this big, powerful dragon and India to be that ambling elephant. And that's the point India repeatedly makes, that India's rise so far has been spectacular. The aim is to even take it higher, and our national animal is the tiger. So it's like that roaring tiger of our economy, of our military strength that we saw not just in Galwan but Operation Sindoor. So India's roaring like the tiger and moving forward very emphatically. So that's the point India is repeatedly making to the world. China wants to see us out of that American, that close strategic bond and partnership that was worrying China. 25 years of that had worried China. Now they're hoping that ties with India, when India-America ties are not all that well, they're hoping to draw India closer to China and hope that there would be a counterbalance. Remains to be seen, because India is very good at this deft diplomacy. We want good ties with China. We want good ties with America. Let's see how things pan out in the months and years ahead. But a lot would also depend on how Donald Trump were to react to what's happening right now and in the weeks and months ahead. If he sees reason, then things, even in this region, will come back on an even keel.